So diminished. Just briefly on practicing the scale. Of course, you'll want to learn it every 10 ways to Sunday at some point, but really work on this one for now, and that is starting with your index, the shape that you drew out. And you really have to tell yourself 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. You really have to be willing to do that and spend a lot of time observing what you drew out, so that you can really, for one, it's going to kind of force getting the octaves ingrained if you're in A, really knowing that, because now you're going to get out of position a lot. And so you should expect to land on the octave on your index finger for the first octave. And once you get to the first octave, playing the next octave, I typically do with my middle finger if I'm not going to go any higher. As far as getting up to the next octave, I would spend a lot of time on these first two octaves first. But when I know I'm going to do that, I then go to Do again on my index. Thus, I've got the index to be expected on every octave. So there it is. For now, just work on it. You're going to be memorizing a new shape, and really dig into the actual scale tones, because this is new, and you don't want to get into some practice of relying on the shape. Never, right? And so it could just be one string, 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4. Probably a good picking exercise. And then when you're on the A string, flat 5, or sharp 4, another 5, 6, flat 7. And then the octave, and then starting that process over again until you get to the octave, etc. So yeah, good stuff. And then as far as our chord shape that you chose, it's just one of many, of course, but you have the root. I'll stay in A, and I'm going to do it on a flat 5 or sharp 4. You got root, flat of the chord, not the scale. Root, flat 5, double flat 7, which we can say 6 if we want, and then the minor third. And A, memorize the shape, be able to just play that as simple as any other chord shape. That one's very user-friendly. It just kind of fits the hand real nicely. But again, you want to know root, flat 5, double flat 7, minor third. You got to know that. And so if we're in A, riffing our chord progression, from the 4 chord, you can play this diminished 7 on a flat 5. So we have just kind of a 1 chord, the 4 chord, and again, rather than just strumming out a full 2 bar, rather than just strumming out the entire 4 chord, you want to play this in time to begin with and then make it fit. And so if you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to your diminished shape, 1, 2, 3, 4, then that's a good way to start, so that you're not guessing. Once you start holding a note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it gets a little harder, because then you really have to rely on counting, which you really need to do as well, or be able to. Eventually you just want to feel it out. But getting to that point is you're a ways from that naturally. So to put this into a chord progression, do it in your 12-bar blues. Play your 1 chord. On your 4 chord, you want to be able to play a bar of your 4 chord, and then a bar of your diminished 7th from your flat 5. eventually you want to be able to take the root and move it up a minor third and everything else with it, because it's the same chord. Down a minor third. And so you've heard all these things before, and it's a pretty exciting thing to be able to throw into repertoire, and it really gets people's attention fast. So work on that, the scale. And then building a diminished 7th chord with the root on the A string, and then inserting it in your 12-bar blues.